Tonight, we honor a number of people who have made a difference. People like Randy Weingarten, Dave Kotelchuk, and Don Tuminaro, who have served on... That's an applause line. The three of them have served on NYCOSH's board for 25 years and more. People who have helped build this organization from a part-time staff of one to the organization it is today. We honor two organizations, the Long Island Federation of Labor and the Workplace Project. Two organizations that have revitalized the safety and health movement among organized labor and the immigrant community on Long Island. And we honor troublemakers Nancy Lesson and Charlie Richardson. Nancy and Charlie together have helped shape and move forward the safety and health movement in this country. And tonight, we especially honor Secretary Dr. David Michaels. One of the founders of NYCOSH, one of our dinosaurs, who is now the Assistant Secretary of Labor for OSHA. David's appointment speaks to the commitment of this administration to worker safety and health. For the first time in our history, we have a president who issued a presidential proclamation declaring April 28th Workers' Memorial Day. We have a Secretary of Labor, Hilda Solis, who since her appointment has made it clear that workplace safety is a priority for this administration and has sent a clear message to employers that there is a new sheriff in town. And let me also mention the solicitor of the Department of Labor, a past honoree of NYCOSH and recent commissioner of the New York State Department of Labor, our good friend Tricia Smith. Organizationally, we are proud that one of our founding members has risen to be the head of OSHA. David is one of a very few people in the country equipped to deal with the challenge of turning OSHA around after 8 devastating years of the Bush administration. As we know, that administration's efforts to implement the agenda of the business community did great damage to OSHA, for which workers have paid with their health and with their lives. In the short time that David has been at OSHA, we have seen more activity than in the previous 8 years. We have seen new standards, stronger emphasis on enforcement, more stringent penalties. Of course, we expected nothing less. But let us be very clear. The fact that David is the head of OSHA and is surrounded by other wonderful safety and health activists like Jordan Barab and Deborah Berkowitz does not change the fact that they are administering a law which is structurally flawed and insufficient to protect the health and safety of workers. It does not change the fact that for most of its history, the agency was administered by individuals who were committed to an anti-regulatory, anti-enforcement, laissez-faire, anti-worker, anti-union program and ideology. Previous OSHA administrators have left a legacy so toxic that EPA has considered designating the agency a Superfund site. You could applaud that for crying out loud. I promise it's the only joke you'll get out of me tonight. But no matter how wonderful David is and the current staff of OSHA are, without changing the OSHA law, OSHA will continue to be unable to protect the health and safety of workers. It will be a better agency, but still inadequate for its task. And to change the direction of this agency will not be easy. Attempts to issue new standards, strengthen enforcement, and provide workers with training will engender resistance from elements of the business community. But attempts to change the law, to expand workers' rights to safe workplaces, will be resisted by the full force of capital, which, I might add, has grown in power over the last 40 years as labor density in this country has declined. To change the OSHA law will require a movement of all workers, organized and unorganized, of community-based groups, and of immigrant, environmental, public health, and human rights organizations. That is why NYCOSH has made passage of the Protecting America's Workers Act, H.R. 2067, a priority. While we have a long way to go to get the bill enacted, I am proud to report that as a result of NYCOSH's work and the energies of the people and organizations in this room, every single member of the New York City congressional delegation has become a co-sponsor. And that includes Nydia Velasquez, who signed on as a co-sponsor just this week. And the remarks I worked on this morning said 21 of 27 members of the New York State congressional delegation have also signed on. But since I prepared these remarks this morning, one more has joined us. Nita Lowy has signed on as a sponsor of H.R. 2067. We are not stopping with New York City, as you might imagine. We need your help to ensure that every member of Congress from New York State becomes a co-sponsor of this important legislation. On the tables are petitions to members of Congress. We need you to sign them and return them to NYCOSH staff who will be circulating around the room. We need you to take copies back to your workplaces and circulate them and send them to us at the NYCOSH office. This is an historic moment. We must recognize that we are in a unique political environment at a time when the Democrats control all three branches of government, probably for a very short period of time. If we do not organize now, we will lose this opportunity, which we may not see again for another 30 years. It is also a propitious time for us to demand greater regulation. The meltdown of our financial system, the BP explosion in the Gulf of Mexico, the horror of the deaths of 29 workers in the Massey mines in West Virginia, the Tesoro refinery fires in Washington State. These lay bare for all to see the utter bankruptcy of the dominant ideology that has promoted the efficacy of markets to undercut government regulations and social programs which benefit society as a whole. People are losing their homes and their jobs, and workers are being killed as a result of the failure of markets. It is time for us to seize the moment on both the ideological and political fronts. We must change the dialogue in this country to assert the importance of government intervention and regulation, and we must build the movement to demand an expansion of worker rights. We must work on the shop floor to fight for our rights to safe and healthful workplaces, and unite with others to enact legislation that gives OSHA the regulatory tools it needs. So all hands on deck. Act swiftly we must. We have seen too many of our brothers and sisters injured, killed, or made ill as a result of management's concern with profits or as a result of budget cutbacks. Let us work together to fight for safer and healthier workplaces. Thank you all very much.